Hey, hey, hey everybody. Today is shock day. We've got the daisy chain torn apart here. See if we can get enough exposure where you can see. Shock has been removed from the daisy chain. Front forks are done. Shock's been removed and we're working on figuring out why this shock has a rebound issue. I'm going to hook you up here for just a second to the tripod. Let's see if I can explain this in a meaningful way. Oops, get the brightness about right. Okay. So many of you who own WRs, WR250Rs, WR250Xs are aware that there is some buzz out there in the community that this bike has some kind of a rebound issue with the rear shock. And I actually remember, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, a really bad crash that Kalani had over on Maui. I don't remember if Kurt, I think Kurt might have been there when that happened, but basically the bike, he hit some bump and it just chucked him right over the bars and it was bad. And
here, if I didn't upload it, here's the crash I had the other day. I'll put that video in right now. I'm always gonna wear my freaking gear now.
As I was riding it, I noticed that there was a lack of rebound control with this bike, and I had it turned all the way up. And then also Hermit the Vlog over there in Colorado, he noticed that when he was going over whip sections on his bike that it was like a pogo stick back there and there was really no rebound control at all. So what I want to do is show you why that is. I've learned after looking at this the reason why. And this is the inside of Minute Stop shock. You guys have seen me take other shocks apart, so that's nothing new. But what I want to show you is the lack of shimming. And so we've got a fairly heavy spring back there, which means that when the bike is unloaded, the spring's going to open pretty quickly. And I'm used to seeing different types of shim stacks with different pistons. But this particular bike it has very little shimming on the rebound side. So when the shock opens, so if it's together like, you know, think of this part being inside of this part, and the shock compresses, it goes this way and it pushes the oil past these shims on this side. But then once it's compressed, and the spring actually is what opens it. So as you go open, the oil has to go from underneath in this area through these ports, hit these top shim stack right here, and that's what controls it, is this top shim stack. That's the rebound shim stack. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 shims, maybe 5 in there, and they don't look very thick, and the ports are very, very small. Now they're fairly sizable on this side, meaning that the channels the oil in there fine, but there's actually a very, very small round port and very little shimming. So, you know, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but this shock is just set up from the factory with very poor rebound control. And the only way you can really fix that is by revalving the rebound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off for a second, and then I'm going to grind the nut off like you've seen me do in other videos, and I'm going to lay the shims out, and I'm going to show you the shims that we're going to put on that will show the difference, okay? Hang tight with me, folks. Okay, you guys, I know this is a little confusing here, but I want to kind of explain and show you the difference. So here is the stock piston. Here is the gold valve. You can see how much bigger and more open the ports are. So you're going to need a little bit more shimming to control that. But this first line shows the Rebound shims. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're all about 0.20 thick, which is quite thin actually. So there's not a lot of rebound control there. If I pull this piston up, you can see those 4 holes right there. That's all the oil holes available for the hydraulic shock well to go through. So it's got these ports on the backside, but as they get pushed through, there's just not a lot of port area, which means that there's not a lot of control there. Well, one, you'd think it would restrict things a little bit, but the valving there is very, very thin. Now in comparison, look at this first row right here, okay? That is the Rebound valving that we're going to use. It's fairly close to the Race Tech recommended specifications. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 low-speed Rebound shims, all the same size, 0.25 thickness, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you've got 14 total shims, and they're all thicker than these, and the tapered part is the high-speed Rebound. But if you look right here, these 2 really small shims right there, those are what are called clamps. And the smaller they are, the easier it is for the shims to deflect, which softens it even further. And you can see we're not going to go with any real small ones here because we want some better rebound control. We've got a heavier spring that's going to rebound faster, so we've got to control it better with that. And the difference on the compression stack you can see is you've got 2 low-speed compressions, 1 crossover, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 high-speed compression shims. Look at the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all the same size. The crossover, which is bigger than this one, which means it's going to be stiffer. And then all these high-speed compression. Now these ports are larger, so you use more shimming to resist the flow of shock fluid. But you can see the difference in the valving, and what this is going to do is it's going to slow the rebound down. We still have a lot of adjustment on the clickers that we can bleed off extra if we need to, but that is the reason why this shock has a problem with rebound and pitching people over the top of their bikes, is because there's not enough rebound control. You can have that thing cranked up 100%, fully blocked off the what do you call it, the bypass, or basically the rebound control. You can go full hard, and that's all the shims you have controlling it. So if you're going really slow, you might be able to be okay, but this is the difference, okay? So what we're going to do, sorry about all these cars driving around here, it's quitting time, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the valve and put it all back together so you can see the difference in what it looks like. Okay guys, I've got this put back together now. Sorry about all the noise, we've got a bunch of neighbor kids running around, teenagers, you know. But anyway, so I want to show you, this is the top is always the Rebound stack. I'm going to move this over here so I can compare over here the original one. Look how many more shims and how much more thick that is. That's going to be able to control that rebound a lot better. And if I tip it up here a little bit, you'll be able to see all these shims here. That's all the compression stack. Definitely much thicker, but keep in mind these ports are a lot bigger, and it's machined in such a way to direct the shock oil into the ports. So you need more shims to control that, but I think that's going to be way better control for trail and desert riding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this shock. You guys have seen that before, so I don't need to go again, but you know the problem here is that Yamaha built this rear shock and the forks. They normally will farm out their suspension to KYB or Showa, mostly KYB, and so as a result of that, you know, they just have a lot more research and development. So sometimes when they try to do it themselves, they take a guess on the valving to hit a mass of people, but unfortunately that's a little bit dangerous on this bike. So this is going to be a lot better with that control that will come from revalving it.
end under